Good morning, scholars. It is National Vietnam Veterans Day, or Vietnam War Veterans Day, sorry. This is the day to commemorate and honor those who fought in the Vietnam War in the 1970s. It was a very, very controversial war. A lot of people believe that we shouldn't have even been in it. So it's something you're interested in, just let me know. I have a ton of books on it and things like that. But it is that day to honor those who fought in that war. It is Monday, March 29th. Our aim today is that students will be able to explain the causes of the First Crusade and its results. We've got the same game plan that we always have. We have our do now, some notes, guided practice, independent practice. All right, so your do now is actually part of your independent practice from Friday. You have 5 multiple choice questions, and then you need to give me the dates for number 6. So 6, 7, 8, what those years are. So go ahead and pause your video and take the time and complete this do now. All right, what did the Magna Carta protect? Number 1 should be the rights of barons. It did not protect the power of the king. It actually kind of took some power from the king and said, hey, you can't just do whatever you want. It had nothing to do with the church, and it did not guarantee the freedom of all men. Common law results from customs and judges' decisions. If you weren't sure on that, that was a key word directly from the notes, so you could have gone back and just looked at that definition. What does habeas corpus prevent? That would be, oh, I should not have put D. Why did I put D? That should be C. Number 3 is C, secret arrest. Number 4, where does a writ start out in a court of law? And number 5, the main work of representatives in a parliament is making laws. Again, that was a direct key word from the notes, so you could have gone back and looked that up as well. Number 6, the year that the Norman conquest succeeds is in 1066. John became king in 1199. The Magna Carta was signed in 1215, and Parliament comes into being during the 1200s after the Magna Carta is signed. So you need to fix any of those, feel free, and we'll move on. So we only have a couple words today. Our first word is Crusades, and the Crusades were a series of military campaigns. That's an operation or a series of battles to establish Christian control over the Holy Land. There is some debate that that's what it actually was. There's some conspiracy theorists that believe that the whole goal of the Crusades was to find the Holy Grail, things like that. But the actual purpose of the Crusades was to get that control of Jerusalem again, where Jesus was born. Pope Urban II was the leader or head of the Catholic Church. He's the pope that actually initiated or started the Crusades. So we'll be talking quite a bit about him over the next couple days. So go ahead and pause and get those 2 words down. I'm sorry. My eyes are watery and my nose is runny, so allergies. All right, so we're going to practice some map skills so we can better understand our region and how the Crusades operate. I know there's a lot of lines, but that's because there were 4 Crusades. So number 1 in the green box is which Byzantine city was on the Crusaders' route. And then number 2, which European ports were important? And there are 3. And remember, a port is a location where boats can dock. And there's a lot of trade happening. So go ahead and pause and answer those questions. All right. So for number 1, which Byzantine city was on the Crusaders' route? If you find the Byzantine Empire here, you can see all arrows pretty much point to Constantinople. And then there are 3 European ports that were important. So you have to go to Europe, which is here. Obviously, if we're talking about ports, we're talking about along the water. So we see a bunch of lines that go to connect, and one is in Marseille. Marcel, I don't know. I don't do well with French, so. And then Venice and Genoa, or Genoa. Okay. All right, guided practice. Sorry, allergies, man. In 1096, farmers in northern France paused in their plowing to listen to a distant roar. It was the sound of a vast crowd of people singing hymns and calling others to join them. The farmers watched the approaching mob of peasants, some 20,000 strong, led by a man dressed as a hermit. The farmers immediately knew who he was. For months, Peter the Hermit had been calling on all Christians to join his fight to free Jerusalem. His preaching had inspired thousands to follow him. Like so many others before them, the farmers left their fields and became part of Peter the Hermit's army. The Crusades, or a series of military campaigns to establish Christian control over the Holy Land, had begun. Over the next few centuries, wave after wave of peasants, soldiers, and kings would travel from Europe to the Middle East in pursuit of this goal. Their campaigns would reshape both Europe and the Middle East. The Crusades began with high hopes. One goal was to protect Christian pilgrims as they visited the Holy Land of Palestine. Muslim caliphs or leaders had generally allowed Christian pilgrims to visit holy places, but in the early thousands, the Fatimid Arabs started destroying churches and killing pilgrims. Then in 1071, Seljuk Turks took over Jerusalem from the Fatimids. The Turks harassed pilgrims and marched on the Christian city of Constantinople. So the emperor in Constantinople asked Pope Urban II for help. So you have two questions on this slide that we'll do together. Why would farmers leave their fields and join Peter's army? And what caused the Byzantine emperor to seek help from Pope Urban II? So go ahead and pause your video, take about 5 minutes, and we'll come back together and answer these. All right, so why would farmers leave their fields to join Peter's army? It could be multiple reasons. So you could have something like they might have heard all these people like singing and marching and wanted to join in. They could have just been known what the cause was for and were religiously dedicated and wanted to fight. They may have kind of conformed or kind of joined the group because it was a large group and they had that group mentality, or just the preaching of Peter. If it might have been, he was, if he's very charismatic, that would draw people in. And what caused the Byzantine emperor to seek help from Pope Urban II would be that churches were getting destroyed and pilgrims were being harassed by the Arabs and the Turks. So go ahead and pause and get that down if you still need to. Again, remember your answers do not have to be verbatim mine word for word. Okay, as long as you have something similar, that is fine. So for independent practice, you'll read a little bit more about the Pope and the crusade. For number 4, it says, what sacrifices did people make to join the crusade? The number 3 is there because you need to write 3 sacrifices. So 3 things that people gave up to join the war. Then you have 2 cause and effect questions. On the question 5, you have to find the effect. And question 6, you have to find the cause. And then question 7, why did the Second Crusade fail? Then again, before you turn in, make sure you fill out the attendance form if you have not, and check in the turn-in checklist so that you are meeting expectations. And tomorrow we will continue talking about the Crusades. Yes, we'll continue talking about the Crusades tomorrow. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, guys.